Hi, hello everybody. Welcome back. I'm Random Randy, and we've got a current events update for everybody out there. Was riding home today and heard on NPR, the narrative for the nation, right? I heard on NPR something regarding Easter Island, and it just kind of struck me as interesting that everything about our past is burned to the ground, whether it be the fires all throughout the Americas in the 1800s. I mean, you name it. Fire is the go-to for blazing a new trail towards the future, right? So I gotta say, I'll give you the lowdown here on what is being said about the fire on Easter Island, that was man-made. And so let's get into that. Let's take a look. Easter Island statues are damaged in fire, possibly set by humans. Now, officials have said that the fire caused irreparable damage to the UNESCO World Heritage Site. And we'll probably have to get into what UNESCO is and what they do for covering up the past in another episode. You can always find some information on that in Michelle Gibson's work. Um, so yeah, just putting that out there. Now, a fire that may have been intentionally set has caused irreparable damage to some of the iconic ancient Moai statues on Easter Island. Local authorities have said this week. Now, the fire began on the island known as Rapa Nui by indigenous people on Monday, and it has affected a number of the island's nearly 1,000 statues. A Carolina Perez de Tari, Chile's Undersecretary of Cultural Heritage, said on Twitter this week that at least 247 acres, or 60 hectares, of land were affected around the Rano Raraku volcano region. That area, a UNESCO World Heritage Site and part of the national park on the island, has nearly 400 of the island's famous statues, as well as a quarry used to construct the sculptures. Now, Datari told CNN that officials are on the ground assessing damages to the Moai. In a statement posted to Facebook, Rapa Nui authorities said that a shortage of volunteers helped the fire get out of control enough to spread. So there's some really interesting thoughts on just on that article there. Okay, so they don't have enough volunteers, which is why the fire got out of control. Oh, I don't know. Easter Island's pretty remote place. There's not a lot going on there as far as things that are burnt, flammable. It's a small island off by itself. In order for this to have been man-made, I would think, this fire anyway, I would I would think that first you would have to have access to this island, which is out in the middle of nowhere. Secondly, you would have to be able to fly under the radar of the locals. And I'm sure there is a sufficient group of locals that should be kind of keeping an eye on this place. But because it is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, they obviously employ some people to take care of the island and these statues, but apparently not enough. Not enough because the fire was able to spread out of control. And it's interesting when I was listening to this on NPR on the drive home, and I like to turn that on just to hear what the going thing is for the day. Um, like the down talk of Vladimir Putin or the talking up of President Biden. And it amuses me, all of it. It's funny. It's an interesting and funny story. Sometimes less interesting, sometimes less funny, but a story nonetheless. And this story, screamed to me, man, you got to say something about this to folks out there. See what they think. This just screams the man to me. I don't know about you guys, but when a fire takes out a historical heritage site or causes quote irreparable damage to where they're not going to repair these things, they're not going to build them back. This may even be the end of Easter Island as a tourist destination as we currently know it. Um, I kind of wish that I had pulled up some more photos of what the actual fire damage looked like here. I mean, because it appears as though it's a relatively barren place as it is. Now, the interesting thing is this is a fire that is damaging volcanic rock, which is born of fire. So, is there some symbolic thing happening here? A born of flame, now back to the flame, like dust to dust kind of thing? What's really going on here? Was this intentional? Was this spiteful? Was it just like somebody that had a really bad vacation, over there on Easter Island, and just decided to burn all these guys down? Furthermore, much like the gold statues, stone statues of the previous, we'll just say the previous uh, civilization being tossed around as Tartaria, um, we also hear stories in that research of statues burning to the ground, of stone temple type buildings burning to the ground. Now we hear of these Moai having irreparable damage. I guess we should just be glad that they're not all burned to the ground, right? But anyway, that was just a thought. Wanted to share that with you. Thank you guys for tuning into the channel, and we shall see you next time.